Hello, and welcome back to the Juniper JNCIA JUNOS video series. My name is Chris Frisch. We have covered a lot of information in a relatively short period of time, and by now you're practically a JUNOS expert. We started off by talking about what JUNOS is and how it is different from other manufacturers' software. If you have not had any chance to work with the JUNOS device before, the task of learning JUNOS may have seemed a bit daunting, but you stuck with it, and now you're probably pretty comfortable with JUNOS. For a lot of people, tackling JUNOS can be daunting at first because it is different than what most engineers are used to. You are probably realizing by now that JUNOS offers some powerful and logical tools to help you get the job done. When you begin to understand what the JUNOS hierarchy is and what it's about, everything else starts to fall into place. So we covered a lot of JUNOS information in this video series, from what JUNOS is and how it works to networking fundamentals and JUNOS COS. We learned about how to navigate the JUNOS CLI, how to perform common configuration tasks. We learned about JUNOS monitoring and maintenance. We talked about JUNOS routing fundamentals and routing policies and firewall filters. I can't stress enough the fact that everything we talked about in this video series is relevant to the Juniper JNCIA JUNOS exam. The structure of this course is actually based on the Juniper exam objectives, and the content of this series is meant not only to give you the knowledge you need to configure, monitor, and maintain JUNOS equipment, but to pass the exam as well. So let's talk a little bit about the Juniper JNCIA JUNOS exam. You should now have the skills and the knowledge necessary to pass this exam. Now you need to know what to expect from the exam. If you have taken a Cisco exam before, you may be pleased to find out that the Juniper JNCIA JUNOS exam is all multiple choice. This is to your advantage because the answer or answers are always staring at you. You just have to pick them. Also, with Juniper exams, if there are multiple answers that you need to select to answer the question correctly, the question will actually tell you how many answers to pick. With other exams, this isn't always the case. Juniper's objective with these exams is solely to test your knowledge of their product. There are no trick questions on these exams. In a sense, Juniper exams are very straightforward. If you have studied what you were supposed to study and you know what you were supposed to know, you will pass the exam. The Juniper JNCIA JUNOS exam consists of 65 multiple-choice questions. You are given 90 minutes to complete this exam. This gives you about 1 minute and 20 seconds for each answer. Of course, some questions will take a little longer, but others should only take you really a few seconds to answer. To be honest, there are some easy questions on the exam that you're going to know the answer to right away. Other questions may take you a little bit of time. If you remember, when we talked about subnetting and binary, we talked about how you need to practice, because if you are not proficient, those questions on the exam can eat up more time than they need to. Well, there are going to be quite a few questions on the exam regarding converting binary numbers to decimal and vice versa, as well as questions where you will need to figure out subnetting information. Some of the subnetting questions will be direct subnetting questions. Others might want you to evaluate routes in a routing table for a given destination address, and you will need to figure out which route matches the destination or source address based on the subnetting information. So I want to emphasize that you need to practice this. Something to keep in mind is that when you go to take the exam, they should give you a small dry erase board and a dry erase marker. Optionally, they may give you a sheet of paper and a pencil. Either way, this is a tool that you definitely should use. Before you actually begin the exam, you will have to click through a short tutorial on the testing software. Use this time to write down some notes for yourself before the exam clock starts. Before you begin the exam, you can write out your binary position values like this. This way, when you get one of those binary questions, you can just write out the numbers above the values and add them up quickly. The same thing goes for subnetting information. You can write out notes for yourself before you actually begin the exam so that you have a quick reference for those types of questions when they come up. Don't ignore this tool. Use it to your advantage. If you write yourself some notes for binary conversion and subnetting, you can save yourself some time to put towards other questions. If you do this, none of the subnetting or binary questions should take any more than 30 seconds to complete. This means for each one, you add 50 seconds or more to the clock to put towards other questions.